So, if you're new to my account, I'm Ayla, and I live in Southern Oregon, and I have been involved with the witchcraft, pagan, magical community here since 2001. As a leader, as a healer, as a teacher, I teach magic school, and I also write books. I write magical fiction and nonfiction. So that was kind of what I wanted my account to be about, just talking about all of those things. And up in the middle of all of that, my husband becomes sick and gets a diagnosis for untreatable prostate cancer. So these things happen in life. I mean, this is part of life. He was told back in January that he had 3 to 6 months to live. He's still with us, which I can't even tell you how overjoyed that makes me. But at this point in my life, as per normal, I believe, life just kind of stops, you know? It really just kind of stops. And we focus on this sacred moment. I know it doesn't seem like a sacred moment, because I'm sure that many of you are out there sitting with family members that are getting ready to cross back over to the other side again. It doesn't feel like a sacred moment, but it is a sacred moment. And William and I believe that we chart out our life before we come here. We charted out a specific way, because I've had people say to me before, why would I have planned this life? That's a horrible idea. I would have never planned this life this way. But you did, and you planned it just the way you planned it for very specific reasons. And so we come upon this place where he is getting ready to cross back over, and we are wondering why at this moment, at this time in our history, at this point in our relationship, at this point in our life, why now? Why is this happening now? I would have loved for it to have happened in another 10 or 15 years, when we were much older. William's in his early 70s and I'm in my early 60s. And I was just thinking, 80, 85, and now this. And so it's like, no, it's not going to be that long. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was grief. Now, I've never claimed to be an expert in grief. Anybody watching this who's ever had a conversation with me knows that I have, in my magic, it's like I have formulas, magical formulas for just about anything that you might need help with in your life. I can help you with that, except grief. And I started thinking that maybe the reason why grief was such a difficult thing was that it's part of the reason why we come here. I think love and grief are part of the reason why we come here. We want to experience this. And by going through it and experiencing it, we evolve, we grow. And that's what it's all about. It's all about evolution. Evolution is the currency. And we come here and we experience love, and we experience loss, and we experience grief, and we experience a whole myriad of emotions that we really don't experience on the other side. everything is rainbows and unicorns over there. We come here to experience not so much rainbows and unicorns. And it's a good thing for us. It's a point of evolution. I am shocked at grief. I've heard other people's stories. I've sat with people while they were grieving, and I've heard their stories, and I've just had heartaches for them. One of the things I wasn't counting on is I've been saying since January of this year that I am not going to grieve until it's time to grieve. In other words, I don't want to waste time while he is still here being sad. And you know what I have found out? And some of you already know this. I'm sure you could tell me firsthand. I don't get a choice in the matter. I do not get a choice in the matter. I am grieving. I am already grieving what hasn't happened yet. I don't want to grieve. I don't want to grieve while he's still here. I want to love with him. I want to laugh with him. We have amazing conversations. And I love those moments. Those moments are so important and so precious right now. But this grieving, and the really freaky thing about the grieving is I'm not just grieving the current moment. I am involuntarily looking back over my life and grieving certain aspects of my life. And then a friend came to visit me. I have a friend that I've had for 30 years. And she's grieving also. She just had a family member pass away a couple months ago. And she said, oh my God, I'm grieving everything in my past, everything I've ever been sad about. And I thought, well, that must be normal then, because she's doing it, I'm doing it. That must just be part of grief. You know, I've never studied grief before. I've never studied it before. I've just sat with people and been heartbroken with people while they were grieving, not knowing how to help them, really feeling kind of helpless. You know, I mean, there's no other way to put it, just feeling kind of helpless. But being sad with them and sitting with them. And now I'm in my own grief process. And it's just like, this is crazy. I don't want to grieve right now. And I don't want to grieve the past. The past is in the past. I have no problem at all being in the current moment. But I'm thinking about so much stuff from years ago, and actually having a little regret, which I don't have a lot of. I've always kind of bypassed regret with the idea that we make mistakes. When you make a mistake, take responsibility for it, Ayla. Take responsibility for it. Go apologize to that person or make it right, however you have to make it right, and promise not to do it again. And so I bypass a lot of regret that way. But here lately, I'm looking back at things and I'm like, oh, why did I do that? I'm so sad that I did that thing like that. I wish I would have handled it this way. Which, and you know as well as I do that those conversations are pointless. The past is in the past, and really you can't go back and fix it. So the grieving thing is really hard. That's the thing that I'm kind of dealing with right now. And like I said, I don't want to, because I want to be present in this moment with my husband while he's going through this. So that's all I have to say for today. You know, DM me if you want a little chat, maybe a little bit of comfort, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, and we'll just pick it up from there. Have a good